was coaching a client virtually about her businesses. We were talking about relaunch, sustainability, how we were going to do things differently this time around. Business stuff. And then I noticed something. Her eyes were starting to fill with tears. She was trying not to let them. Now, I could have kept going. I could have stayed with the business conversation. Instead, I stopped and I asked, "Are those tears welling up in your eyes right now?" And then I got curious about what was behind those tears. Because sometimes the most important thing someone is telling you is the thing they're not actually saying. Welcome back to Woo Wednesdays. Now starting at the top of my actual CliftonStrengths report and sitting at number 1 is empathy. Gallup describes people with strong empathy as being able to sense other people's feelings by imagining themselves in others' life situations. For me, it's almost like there's another channel playing underneath the conversation. I'm hearing what you're saying, but I'm also tuned into what you're feeling. That doesn't mean I always know what the feeling is. And it definitely doesn't mean I'm psychic. It means I notice that something's there. And here's the really important part. Empathy does not give me the answer. When I saw my client tearing up, I didn't say, "You're crying because you're afraid you're going to burn yourself out again." That would have been my interpretation. Instead, I asked. Because empathy might help me sense that something is happening emotionally, but that person is still the expert of their own experience. I think of it this way. Empathy notices the door. The other person gets to decide whether they want to open it or not. I had another client who actually came to me for coaching because she wanted to work on what she called her negative mindset. She described herself as cautious, always needing to be 2 steps ahead, worried about judgment. She saw fear as weakness. But then I asked her to imagine herself 3 to 6 months into the future. And her language completely changed. She wanted to be flowing, free-minded, creative, smooth, courageous. Eventually, her future self didn't even call those experiences fear anymore. She called them lessons. And that's the stuff I'm listening for. Not just what somebody says. What changes when they say it? What word suddenly brings energy? Where emotion shifts? Because sometimes the thing underneath the thing isn't sadness. Sometimes it's possibility. So let's put empathy through my 5-star strengths check. Natural use. For me, empathy happens automatically. I hear the words, but I'm also paying attention to the emotional experience happening alongside them. Now for intentionality. This is where I've learned that sensing something and assuming something are 2 completely different things. The strength isn't, "I know exactly how you feel." It's, "I sense something here. Let me get curious." Something shifted when you said that. What happened? I noticed some emotion there. What's coming up for you? Or, tell me more about that. Empathy becomes more powerful when curiosity comes with it. Life impact. When I look back, empathy has followed me through my entire career. Counselor, educator, coach. Different rooms, different people, different conversations, same instinct. Listen for more than words. Sometimes that's where the real conversation begins. And now for the pitfall. Here's where empathy can get tricky. If you can feel with people easily, you can start taking responsibility for what they're feeling. You want to make it better. You want everybody to be okay. You change your behavior because you start to feel someone else's discomfort. And I've had to learn. Empathy is information. It's not an assignment. I can understand your feelings without taking ownership of them. I can sit beside an uncomfortable emotion without trying to rescue you from it. This week, try this. This week, pay attention during a conversation, not to analyze the other person, not to figure them out. Just notice. Does their energy change? Is there a word they keep returning to? Did something suddenly light them up? And instead of deciding what it means, get curious. Ask. And if you have empathy high in your Clifton strengths, ask yourself one more thing. Is this mine to carry? Mine to respond to? Or simply mine to notice? Empathy is my number one Clifton strength. And for a long time, I probably would have described that as, I really understand people. Today, I think it's more nuanced. I don't always understand. I don't always know. But I notice. And then I get curious. Because sometimes the most important part of the conversation is the thing underneath the thing. I'll see you next Woo Wednesday. Con amor y luz.